Hi, I'm Jeff Benedict with Accomplished Quilting, and what I wanted to talk about today is we, from time to time, get requests from customers on how to change the height of their frame. The reason for those changes sometimes stems from maybe wondering if it would be preferential to have it in another position. Sometimes instructors advise them that they like to have their frames up real high or down real low, and that's the way you should do it, and that prompts them to want to try that different way of quilting with the machine at a different height. And then it results in a call to our store to ask our technicians to come out to adjust the frame height. And although we don't mind doing that, it's pretty simple to do, and we can help you to do that yourself and save you a little time and money. Now, when we set up frames in the field, we set them up so that a person standing with good posture can rest their arm on the backing roller. So the height of your fabric, you could say, is the same height as the bottom of your elbow. And as a rule of thumb, for most people, that's the correct height to set their frame. And that's what we do. But what if you wanted something different? Well, if you have an electric lift and you want to do a technique in your quilting that maybe you want the frame real high or you want it real low, it just takes the push of a button to retract or raise the frame. So it gives you flexibility, and for that reason it would be something we'd strongly recommend that folks buy when they buy a machine, is to buy a lift for it. So that's how this works. Now, the other way to adjust the frame height is to mechanically change which holes you're using on the legs to set the frame height. And I'll show you a simple technique that we're able to do it in the field without using jacks and not making it a hard thing to do. So let's go and look at another frame. Okay, so now we're going to make an actual adjustment to the frame legs without using an electric lift. So if you want your frame higher or lower, you could use this technique. I find it works pretty easy. The first thing I'm going to do is move the machine to the opposite end of the frame that I'm going to start adjusting the legs on. So I'm just going to roll it down here and park it on that end. Then I'm going to come down here and start to adjust the frame legs. And it doesn't matter whether you do the front one or the back one first, really. But I'm going to start with the back one. And all I'm going to do is, this section here is held on with 2 bolts. So I'm going to loosen those bolts. I have 2 1/2-inch wrenches. I'm just going to loosen the bolts. They're lock nuts, so they never come off unless you use wrenches on them. Then I'm going to pull one of the bolts out. Now the second bolt, you would think would have a lot of weight on it, but as you can see, it doesn't. So all I need to do is lift up here a little bit and pull it off. And look at that, it suspends anyhow. So I'm going to lower it 1 hole, say. I want to try 1 hole different. So I can turn it like this. If you have a foot pad on here instead of a wheel, it works just as easy. And all I need to do is put 1 bolt in on the bottom, lift up a little bit, and turn it like this, and hold it. Then I can put another bolt through. There I've got my bolts through, and put a washer and a nut. Washer and a nut. And then tighten it down again. So now this one leg is 1 hole higher than the other leg. All the other legs on the frame. Okay, and then I'm going to go from there. I'm going to come to the front and do the front leg. on the needle side of the machine. Loosen the nut. Oops, I'll take the brake off too. Look, it dropped down, but all I'm going to do is lower this, take the nut off. Oops, still not loose enough. Move it down one hole. Put a nut in the washer back on. Just hand tight. Turn it this way. And then just go like that. Doesn't take super strength. Put your bolt through there. Put your nuts back on. So I've raised it one hole. And just tighten the nuts just enough that it's snug. You don't have to really crank down on it. So there, I've raised that end of the frame. So now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to move the machine down to the opposite end of the frame. So we're going uphill, you could say. I'm going to take my clamp off. Come on up here. I could wrap this, use the clamp to hold the machine up here, or I can put on my Instagrip channel locks. And that'll hold the machine. So now I can come down to this end and do the opposite end of the frame. Oh. Again, we're using a 1/2-inch wrench for this. I'm just going to lift up a little bit and pull it off. Go to the different hole that I desire. Just go a little lift, and there it is. Look down at the other end to make sure it looks like it's the same height as what you chose on the other end of the frame. Put a washer, then a nut. Lock nuts are strong. They don't loosen ever unless you use a wrench on them. The lock nuts used on these Innova frames will never loosen. Of course, you have to make sure you choose a hole that doesn't have some other obstruction in it, like another nut coming through. I had to bounce it, pull up on it, take a little weight off it, just a bit to get the bolt to come through. Now I hold it and tighten this side. If you invited our technician out to the house to make this change, this is how they would go about it. So now we get up on this end and do the same thing. 1/2-inch wrench, lock nut, take it off. Pull the bolt, start it out at least. Loosen this next one. That one came out easy. We're going to leave it in there. Okay, so I'm just going to reach down here and lift up just a little bit. It's not a lot of weight, it really isn't. Put this on. Third hole up is what I want. just like that. All right, put this one through. There you go. All of this, if you leave the frame located in the same spot on the floor of your home or business, shouldn't change how level the machine is at all, because these holes and so forth are very precise. Won't change the levelness of your frame. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. That'll get you through the first class of being a nuclear plant operator, where you have to turn valves lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So the final stage is to repeat the same process with the middle leg. And the middle leg's really easy. There's no lifting involved at all, because it's just hanging suspended in midair. So I hope this tip benefits you and makes your enjoyment of your Innova even greater. And I'm Jeff Benedict with Accomplished Quilting. Thank you for your business.